Graduation in
Virtual.
San.
Well, it was my son-in-law and my daughter, his wife, were in their home in Palo Alto, and he was one of eight graduates, master's degree
Wow.
in creative writing, and no one was in the same room or in the same state. Even one girl was in England. Now,
Wow.
get this. And so we had a 2-hour graduation ceremony. They read their thesis, it's a substitute for the real thing, being able to be there. But I'm very thankful, as everyone is, that today's technology allows us to not be totally isolated from some of the, very important church. I mean, high school graduations, so many
House
things.
parties.
House
Have you
parties.
done the house party thing?
I even teach a Sunday school class on Zoom. I never thought I could even
Yeah.
pronounce Zoom.
How'd that go?
Well, my daughter, they're all your age, and my son convinced me that if I stopped shaking, I could actually set this up and do it. So I did, and it's a substitute, but you go all this time, months and weeks, and you don't see people, in your peer group or anything else, and that's nice. We get to talk and we do a little Sunday school.
Is it
Yes.
time to have Sunday school back in class, though? Is we there? Phase
I don't
two,
think
right?
so. I think
Churches opened up?
Well, no, I think the governor's order, the phased in, and we're in phase two now, I think, or May 15th, if I'm right. But the churches were encouraged that if they wanted to begin to reassemble, but it was no nurseries, no
Yeah, that's right.
grouping, and I
Taking
know.
temperature. Taking your
Well,
temperature.
I'm not sure. Yeah, but they had to socially distance, of course, and so my church at First Baptist in Clinton, they are into their second. They've had their second just regular Sunday morning worship. No activities until June are going to be cranking
wow.
up, and
Little League start back up. I saw that. A lot of baseball, softball pictures over the weekend, kind of making their appearances back on Facebook.
Yeah,
We've got our first T-ball practice tonight.
have fun.
Yeah.
Have fun, and I'm sure OK Kids will.
What's
Find a way to get
you know
back.
anything about soccer going on? I know that kind of that.
No, I don't know. I'm not well, like what their plans are.
Yeah,
I
the
think
city of Clinton.
everything's been delayed. The city, provides the park at Acme,
Right.
and those things would be available, I would think, under, we're like a peeling an onion. We're gradually trying to reopen under reasonable, rational guidelines.
What does that even mean? Reasonable, rational guidelines.
That means you do not, you're not fearful on one end, and you're not a cavalier on the other end, and you're trying to.
Sounds like some
Your
of the-
son-in-law graduated from creative writing, a master's in it, right? And you two have got to hit it off really well when you're around one another. 'Cause it's like,
Well,
just like
I'm
what
more
John was
impressed with
saying,
him than he is with me.
very creative speaking, for sure.
Okay.
So we're excited. We're excited to have you in
Well,
from
thank
the
you.
city of Clinton.
Yes.
We got lots to talk about this morning. Get a new budget we're going to talk about. We're going to see how you're
Absolutely.
going to operate with no money, as everyone's
Yes.
trying to figure out how to do right now. We'll talk about the new city manager, even interim city manager, who was the IT director there for billions of years, I feel like.
12 years.
12 years?
Awesome.
And we'll talk about that, and then we'll find out what happened to our old city manager.
Okay.
Gone, but still getting paid.
He's like, okay.
It's the perfect
excited.
storm.
Yes,
good.
definitely. So we're do all that in just a moment. Conversation Corner is brought to us by Lucille's Roadhouse.
Lucille's Roadhouse is back open, normal hours for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. The Lucille's team has cleaned from top to bottom and everywhere in between and are now ready to open their lobby as safely as possible. Seating will be limited for the time being. The infamous Lucille's car hops aren't ready to fully retire just yet, though. You can still get that convenient curbside service, order through Chow Now, give them a call, or order from one of their helpful car hops. That's Lucille's Roadhouse in Weatherford, open Monday through Saturday from 6 a.m. to 10 p.m. and Sundays 11 a.m. to 9 p.m.
Hey, I tried calling last night. Why didn't you answer?
Oh, I'm sorry. I can't hear my phone ring from my deep freeze.
Wait, what?
It's the only way I can stay cool. It's actually quite nice. If I sit just right and don't move much, I don't even get a crick in my neck.
Max, call Wisdom Refrigeration. They have 24-hour emergency service, 10-year parts warranty, and a 5-year labor warranty. They even offer a 1-year complimentary maintenance and 0% financing on their unit.
Hey, well, no, I don't want that if it's made in China.
York systems are 100% Oklahoma made, and they even have $500 in rebates right now. Call Wisdom Refrigeration right now. And Max, stay out of the deep freeze.
McKenzie Ford, just off I-40 on Highway 183 in Clinton, is taking all precautions to provide you a safe shopping experience. All vehicles are wiped down between each test drive. McKenzie offers pickup and delivery for your convenience, and they are open regular business hours. Remember, McKenzie Ford will deliver your new or used vehicle to your door. Buy online, email, phone, or text, and McKenzie will get it to your door from their floor. That's McKenzie Ford, just off I-40 on Highway 183 in Clinton. They aim to please, and they deliver.
It's time for today's Medical Minute, brought to you by Dr. Blake Badgett and nurse practitioners Stephanie Yoder and Tasha Robinson. Dr. Badgett, tell us about the symptoms of coronavirus.
The symptoms typically are going to be something like a common cold, and that's the problem. Coughing and fever and shortness of breath. So those symptoms are very similar to what we're currently seeing with the flu, which is making it a little bit more difficult to determine who has it, who doesn't.
And if someone needs to be tested, how does that work?
They will go through a questionnaire. Once that's been completed, then phone calls placed to the state health department. Nasal swabs and oral swabs are recommended, and those will be sent off to the state health department where the COVID-19 testing will be run, and that patient will remain in quarantine for 14 days or until the test comes back and shows it's negative.
And Dr. Badgett, what's the best way to prevent it?
It's kind of common sense, and we've kind of migrated away from that. It seems like literally just washing our hands and staying home from work when you're sick, and those are going to be things that are all going to be real important to help prevent the spread of this.
If you're concerned about the coronavirus, contact your family physician or Dr. Blake Badgett, nurse practitioner Stephanie Yoder, or Tasha Robinson.
Experience, knowledge, honesty, local, things you look for when picking the team to help you buy or sell your home. Green Real Estate in Weatherford is all of that and more. Buying and selling your home is one of life's important decisions, and having someone in your corner you can trust is vital. Green Real Estate works to provide her clients with the knowledge they need to make the most informed decisions and get the most for their dollar. Green Real Estate, 207 West Main in Weatherford. Green makes the difference.
95.5 with Van and John.
It's Conversation Corner, brought to us by Lucille's Roadhouse, Airport Road in Weatherford. Get a breakfast burrito. Get the Mother Road breakfast. It's all you can eat. That's our favorite, isn't it, John?
Delicious. Yeah, you better believe it. I can get as much bacon as I want. Or the chorizo sausage. I think that's probably my favorite.
Yeah, that is good. From the city of Clinton, the mayor, David Berrong, in the studio with us. Hello.
Hello.
So the first thing that I want to know about, because I know John is loaded with everything to
What
go.
do you mean loaded? I'm not loaded.
He's loaded for bear. He's already warned me.
I'm not warned anybody.
So,
what are you talking about? I was just...
City manager Mark Skiles.
Yes.
It's just announced at that very moment that he turns in his resignation.
Retirement.
That he didn't turn it in, right? It was just there at this council meeting?
He wasn't there, right?
No, he had already executed that, right?
So
that was a win-win situation. Mark turned in 6 solid years of service at city manager and did some outstanding things. And, I guess all good things come to an end. And this was a retirement moment that he then will finish his regular duties through August, but not with the authority of the city manager. And then I wish him well and move, and he'll probably.
So is he going to move? Yeah.
Well, I don't know. I haven't spoken to him about.
Hold on, so he getting paid through August?
He has enough sick leave and vacation.
Oh yes,
right?
he has. And things were already kind of in his pathway to work that well, and so.
3 months?
That's crazy.
You know what that says about him? It says that he worked all the time.
Yeah, he didn't take a break.
He did not, and that is one of the one of the things that was very much a positive. About
Right, which
Mark.
is great, and I understand what you're saying. But when employees do that, now you're stuck as the city paying the double salary for 3 months.
Well, it's not really that because as you
how is it not? You're paying
because as you work into a
accrued.
retirement, you work into and once again, this is something that he wanted,
right?
As well as we were positive about it too, that he would finish and then basically go to the end of his tenure. To make it actually to 6, it would be actually just exactly 6 years. in August, and then he had figured that we all figured together how this is positive, and actually, probably is less expensive than some contractual arrangements that work out that if a manager is asked to leave with really no cause, then there would be even more of a contractual obligation afterwards. That's the way most contracts are drawn. And that is not what he or the city chose to do. And it's really a harmonious win-win situation.
I'm with you, but I still go back to the double salary, though. You're paying because he didn't use any vacation and spread it out, all this. Now
it's not any more double than if he were taking his leave during the year. And
yes, it is. We wouldn't be hiring a new city manager. We wouldn't have two. So we have technically two city managers right now.
Yeah, but technically we have an assistant or a acting manager, but the baseline, he's been being paid a lot. We're just bumping in the interim his salary up to the equivalency, which is an add-on. It's not a total salary that we're paying.
But we're looking to hire somebody, and I'm assuming we're going to hire a new city manager for the next 3 months.
Well, I don't know. It depends. We're meeting, and we're going to. My goal for the city council, because this is all our first opportunity to do what I think is probably the most important activity that we will have to do as a council, and that is to choose a city manager. We're going to be unanimous in the way we go about it.
Especially in Clinton, I mean, the city manager is the most important position.
Well, in that form of government,
you're right.
It is a fantastic position to be a part of the big picture and moving Clinton forward in harmony with the council, and it's a preferable form of government. I've watched them all for Clinton, and of course it's shared by a lot of communities under 15 or 20,000. The council, city manager form of government, it's the least political. In terms of his position, once he gets past, of course, we're a political body, but we're the people's representative, and that's why we have to do as great a job as we can in finding the absolute, most qualified individual to then step into city manager. And then our charter allows the city manager. He actually is the head of the city at that point, and everything that happens, the $8 million budget or whatever we approve. Most of that is under his charge. All employees are under his charge. It's very important that we get a person that is harmonious with the community, someone that they don't have to be from Clinton, but if they aren't or they are, that they absorb themselves. It's not our town, it's their town. They're not just a hired gun, that they're someone that comes in and really gets into the life, becomes a part of Clinton as a professional. But that's the key, is that they need to be a professional administrator, someone that knows how to handle 100 employees. And
right.
There's just a lot to it that's important. And once we make the decision, then hopefully it'll be something that will be very positive for Clinton. And
I mean, you should have no problem getting a person. You get 3 months of free pay at the end of your stuff.
Well, bottom line is that was less expensive, frankly, for the city than because you're always going to have to pay
Yeah, I don't get your reasoning, John, because he had his vacation and sick leave. What does it matter if he takes it all now or if he took it before?
Because before we're not having to hire someone to replace him.
Well,
now we are. We're double paying. That's why you don't let employees do that.
No, well,
I love it.
Well, of course you do, but because you're not the owner of the company. The owner of the company now has to pay two people because you have two people employed doing the same job. Where if he was taking his vacation 2 years ago, 3 years ago, whenever he's on it, we're not hiring another city manager.
Well,
while he
now
goes
you're
on
having an
vacation.
assumption. If let's say he had to take it or had to take his sick leave or had to be gone for a while, all those things would lead to the necessity to have someone to be able to cover for him while he was gone.
Yeah.
Right.
So your assumption is that wouldn't have happened, and that is an assumption.
See?
And this is a situation that actually we all have kind of coalesced around. Everybody's in agreement. We're all excited for the future, and our city manager is in a position to go on with his life professionally, and the city of Clinton is in a position, frankly, Gene McAuliffe, who has been IT for 12 years, is a patriot. Because in talking to him, his feeling was, well, he's not interested in being the city manager.
Right.
And as you know, that's not, but he wants to step up as a citizen of Clinton and as a person that really believes in Clinton, and I admire that. And so it's all in all, John, it's a win-win for Clinton.
Why was it time to find a new city manager? Was this? Was this a surprise? Was this time? Was he asked to leave? Where was it?
Well, he entered a letter of resignation, and all parties were in agreement that this was,
It's just tough times right now. And it's just really hard. I feel like it's a really rough time for the leader to be going.
Well, I guess it's never a good time. I've always
Right.
said anytime you lose your city manager, you're going to step back 2 or 3 years, unless you do a good job in the interim of bringing someone in that can hold the ship together, and then bring in a pro that doesn't take long to acclimate themselves to their new area and move forward. And that's what our hope is. It's always a body blow anytime leadership stops to be the same way in Weatherford or anywhere else.
Right, but this is the same time where sales tax is struggling and with the economy
Well,
struggling.
but the city manager, is not in a position to do anything positive about the sales tax other than spend the money wisely.
Well, right. That's what I'm saying, and help the city grow.
Well, but at the same time, you just have to take these things. You can always be morose about everything, but I think that this is a good time. I think one thing that will probably be, and it goes to what you're saying, is that there's going to be probably less jobs open, and so more people would probably be interested in a city of Clinton moment, as opposed to us out here. And there are 10 openings in Oklahoma, and right now I think there's just 2 in city manager positions. And I think this pandemic has probably created a stay put, for a lot of people. But I think Clinton's in a position, perhaps, if there is some quality people out there that are ready to make a move, and we're opened up right now, I think that, we may have more candidates.
Speaking of budget and things, kind of transition into that, do you have a budget meeting tomorrow morning? I
Yes,
believe?
it's called a workshop. Yep.
Budget workshop.
Yep.
Is that where someone's already has the budget ready to go? We're going to look at it, or is
Yes. It's not. It's never ready to go until the council looks at it, and then the citizens actually come in, and we have it's like a 3-pronged process of openness. The city manager, Mark Skiles, had already asked, as per season, all of the heads of all the city agencies to come up with their budgets. And as I understand it, Mark had already looked at, which is per norm, he'd already looked at the general and requests for this next month, and then and he penciled in, yes, let's carve this away. No, this is just the way it goes.
Do you know if he asked the department managers to do some kind of percentage cut when they're coming up with this next year's budget?
I think that, yes, I'm just confident, because good grief, no cities fully know the impact, the horrible impact yet. Sales tax reporting is 2 months late, and all this pandemic, and then the oil play, and the loss of all this, the 2 terrible storms coming together, the perfect storm. And so there's no anticipation that we're not going to have a dramatic, at least an acute dramatic reduction. Now, if all this hadn't happened, John, this pandemic, and we were moving through, we were on pace to have, a slightly better fiscal year in 19 and 20 than we did in 18 and 19. But that everything's off the board, and with all this, measured caution about, the future. And yes, they would have built in a speculative decline, and that's all speculative. And we've always tried to be conservative. Everyone tries to, not bust the budget. And now what we'll do, we'll meet tomorrow as a council and listen to our city treasurer, and she will oversee, which is per norm. And then all the department heads will tell us, exactly how they figured what they need, and then how that is all based on, a conservative budget estimate. And then we will then either will question, may agree, may not agree. All that then will come, and that's where you're saying that. And then there'll be another amendment to if there needs to be one. And then the next step is we have to have a public meeting for the entire city of Clinton, invited in, and then they look, and they are in a position, if they want to question the city council and the treasurer on where we're going. And then once we pass that bar, then that's the point where the council's in a position to approve the city budget.
Sounds like a very complicated
It
process.
is, and it's a
but-
dateline too. We have to get it done by the middle of June.
Okay. Which is that's coming up before you know it.
It is. It is.
Be summer months. Is the Clinton pool opening up?
That will be decided tomorrow night, and I cannot speak for the council, but I will say this. We were talking about this briefly. I was with Vanessa, that talking about this. I think the council is in the right place where they're looking at fear is too extreme, and being cavalier about this situation is too extreme.
Right.
So rational and reasonable is in the middle, and we're going to be looking at not only the pool. Which would normally be a Memorial Day thing. It takes 2 weeks for the pool to be, put water in, all the stuff, all the employees. So we're 2 weeks away from when we decide, if we decide that we should have a measured opening. It will be later. It's obvious it's going to be later than Memorial.
That's this weekend.
Yeah, it's obvious. But we're going to be looking at that. We're going to be looking at Acme Fitness Center. And
that kind of got a little heated, didn't it? When we talked about the Acme Fitness Center wanting to reopen, and
it wasn't heated about that. I think that the issue for me came down to under our charter, the city manager has authority of all city facilities, and in this particular season and moment, the city manager was not dealing with by choice Acme Workout, and the council felt like this was something that we needed to do. Of all our facilities during this pandemic, we needed to look at that workout facility. So the council, by resolution, closed the fitness center. But that's the only facility that was not dealt with directly by the city manager. The city manager has Frisco Center, all the facilities.
So why not that one?
Chose not to, and we chose to.
Gotcha.
It became a moment where we had a specific interest in what we should do next and what we closed. That we can't open what we didn't close.
Right.
And City Hall has been CDC shut down. Well, I say that CDC. I mean. Shut down on the pandemic by the city manager, and the issue was not so much what to do with Acme. The issue is when is it ever appropriate to stagger city employees back into their jobs? Should it be done consistently? Should City Hall and all their employees, be back, as well as Acme, and all their employees? And that's where the conversation got into a bit of a rub.
So let me get this my timeline correct. Tell me if I say anything wrong. So the city council wanted to have it. The city manager didn't want to shut that down, and then the city council did want it shut down. And then
about 6 weeks ago,
about 6 weeks later, we get a letter of resignation from the city.
Well,
manager.
that had nothing to do with that.
Okay. I was asking. I just trying to put a timeline together.
No. I don't mind. I don't mind anybody. A John Q. citizen, can speculate from their own perspective.
Right.
But I'm saying that what you have to take really is the final version of what's happened, and that is that there is a harmonious atmosphere around a resignation, and there is a future that one person will go one way and Clinton will continue on.
It's exciting times. So the pool. Speaking of that, back to that for a minute. We had the city of Weatherford mayor on and talking today, and he said the pool is just a financial burden. It's worth it because it's happy citizens, especially in my opinion. Hope nobody else listens. I think Clinton has the best one. Around.
Well, we do. I mean, let's not even play.
Pool.
I mean, I'd think everybody in the whole 5-county area, you drive anywhere, you're never going to see a municipal pool.
Right.
That is, and it was before this new one.
But they mentioned Mayor Brown mentioned that what City of Weatherford's pool takes about a $50,000 loss every year, just due to life and expenses, like you mentioned.
But you would have to rank. I don't know. There's not anything provided by the city that makes money.
Right.
I mean, that is not. If that's the test.
Aha!
If that's the test, the quality of life issue is the test.
Right.
And in in our city. I don't play a lot of golf. I love it when I get out there, but I'm not a golfer. But that is not a moneymaker, and never has been. But then if you decide, well, what about that? Then let's go to the swimming pool. Swimming pool is an absolute loss.
Right.
Okay. Well, let's go to the public library. That's an absolute loss.
Right.
Okay. Let's go to the senior citizen area. That's an absolute loss. And then let's take all the parks. Let's take all the money that we throw into everything, and then if it's necessary for every citizen to do everything to justify having it, then we're wiping out everything.
Right.
And I said the final look at a community that measures everything, their quality of life on the basis whether it makes money or I use it, is a cattle yard, where a feed, if you've ever driven one by, where that last lone cow is on that pile of dung and standing there, and that is what your community is going to look like when you whittle it down.
Yeah.
And now our issue is not that issue with the municipal pool. The issue is the ability to have a measured, a clean approach that would protect the workers as well as the young people. And I tell you, I just, now personally, I cannot see us closing that for the entire season because of the value that is to the quality of life. This whole issue nationwide is, and it's always an issue, is the cure worse than the problem?
Right.
I mean, in other words, there's this horrible conundrum. It's this horrible, situation that we all have to work through in life. This isn't the only time. Sometimes there's not like a clear path one way or another. So I think that from my perspective, I'm looking at it from in the middle, reasonable, rational, but then looking at the overall body of work that we provide in that pool for our young people. And by the way, you ought to see our new park at McLean Rogers, the new play park, which is state of the art.
That's cool.
It's fancy.
Bring the kids, man. They love it. We love parks.
Yeah, and it's a great that you talk about a great thing in Clinton, which is Clinton has a big distinctive. We always had this private money that's always been flooding in to build projects, and then this is a perfect situation. You have a group of people that said, let's raise a lot of money, and will the city help us a little, and let's put in this space age park. And so it's this combo between private and tax dollars, quality of life, and it's going in the middle of all this. And it's just, to me, it's a metaphor for positive stuff and a future. So
awesome. No, we're excited. Hey, my wife just texted. I'm supposed to apologize to you.
Why?
She said I was being mean. I don't think I was, but
well, that's okay. Tell her that she's used to that. Probably.
My wife, yeah. She said, quit being mean. He's a nice guy.
Yeah, that's right.
I am being.
Well, that's right. I mean, you don't see me sweating.
Not at all. No, you.
I think you're a nice guy.
Thank you.
Tell your wife I think you're a nice guy.
I will.
You're Jonathan, and I like Jonathans.
She won't believe
That's
you.
right. My daughter was asking me yesterday, when is Memorial Day weekend? When is it? And I said, oh, it's like 2 or 3 weekend. Oh no, actually, it's next weekend.
Yeah, it's this weekend coming up, Memorial Day.
She was like,
it's one long day. Listen, it's like there's a lot of movies that work into this whole situation we're in, like The Longest Day. Go back and watch that. And I had a lady call me the other day. She wanted to rent something, and it's Saturday. I'm sitting there talking to her, and she says, I want to come pick it up. I said, well, it's Saturday. It is Saturday? Is this Saturday?
Oh, I know. Yeah,
she said, I apologize. She says, I've lost track of my days. I said, don't apologize. It's just one long day.
Yeah, you're right about that. My daughter says that too. What day is it? So, well, thank you so much for coming in.
Always a pleasure.
Thanks for your positivity and your bright smile. And
that's right.
Your creative words.
I love John.
I love you too.
There we go. Boom.
Glad we all like each other. Conversation Corner is
Hey,
brought
we
to
said
us by,
love. Why are you not on Drain?
I'm glad we all love each other.
Thank you.
I love Van.
Conversation. I love you too. We're all in agreement, so we love each other.
Is it LUV love or LOV?
Conversation Corner is brought to us by Lucille's Roadhouse. We love Lucille's too.
The new Van and John Show is brought to you by True Vision.